Willie D Live.
What's up, family? After a new Tesla pay package put him on track to become the world's first trillionaire, Elon Musk got an earful from Billie Eilish. She does not like Elon Musk. She thinks he's a piece of you-know-what. In fact, her words were effing pathetic, P-U-S-S, you-know-what. B-I-T-C, you-know-what. Coward. She was mad. Yeah, she was mad. Why is Billie so mad at Elon? Well, according to Billie, Elon could end world hunger. He could save critically endangered species. He could take his money and rebuild all of Gaza. And, why not just give the money away? I mean, come on, man. What do you need with $1 trillion? In fact, Billie asked the crowd of people who she was speaking to at an event, why do you need $1 billion? She had a lot of people who had big money in the room. She said, many of you have more money than I have. What do you need with $1 billion? Give it away. Question. Would you give away $1 billion? If you had $1 billion, would you give it away? Would you give it away? I need to know. Give me a thumbs up if you would give it away. Thumbs down and say, hey man, is you crazy? I ain't giving no $1 billion away. Well, what if you was a billionaire and you were asked to give much of it away? How much would you give away? How much do you think you need to get by for the rest of your life? What would be cool if you was feeling a little philanthropic? You feeling a little philanthropic. What amount would be cool? What's a good amount? Let's say you got $1 billion. How much of that $1 billion would you be willing to give away to the people? 50 million, 100 million? I mean, $500 million? $500 million? What about 900? What about 900 million? Would you give away 900 million? Would you give away 900 million? You still got 100 million? Think that's enough for you? What about giving up 999 million? You're still a millionaire. What's that number? Here's the thing. I like Billie Eilish, but here's the thing. I think it's a little naive to think that way. Or maybe she's just being facetious. I don't know. But ain't no way billionaires just gonna give their money away unless they know that they ain't got much time to live. And even then, many of them is not gonna give that money away. They're gonna pass that money down to family. Well, you know what? Let me back up. Some of them are so evil and so lonely, they'll give all the money away to a dog. I've seen people give like that type of money away to charity. Like nobody in the family get nothing. Couldn't be me. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a result of people that's always have money. Maybe they didn't have to struggle, right? Or maybe they did struggle and they got that mentality that, hell, if I went through the struggle, you're gonna have to go through the struggle. Because I know people like that who, when their kids need some new shoes, those shoes ain't got a hole in them, they're like, well, we went to school with holes in our shoes. You don't need no new shoes. Shoes be raggedy. You can look at them, tell they busted up, scuffed it up, scuffed up and everything. But mom and daddy don't care. Like, hey man, shit, I went to school with holes in the bottom of my shoes, so I don't want to hear none of that. Yeah. So anyway, back to Billie. Billie does not like Elon Musk. She thinks he is trash. She do not understand why does anyone need $1 billion. See, the only thing about that, well, not the only thing, but one of the things about her making that statement is that she opens herself up for criticism. Because Billie, I think, is worth a reported $40 million or something like that. And you got people out there saying, well, Billie, give your $40 million up, you first. And then we can talk about Elon or anybody else giving their money up. Yeah. So I can appreciate somebody like that has money, because she has a lot of influence. Some people say, well, why she won't give her money up? Well, I'm not going to make an excuse for her, but I do know that she raises a lot of money through awareness. So there's multiple ways a celebrity can support a cause. You can straight up give money, which she does give her own personal money too. But you can give money, you can lend your name, your likeness, and you can help causes like that. And she's lent her name and likeness for many, many causes and has raised millions of dollars over the years. So I do think that she is sincere. So maybe, again, she was just being facetious about this, idea of Elon Musk giving up his money. I know damn well he's not finna give up $1 trillion. Elon is one of those dudes who, without money, he would be very unassuming. Like nobody would care. Like nobody would pay attention to him because, he's really not an interesting dude, beyond that. He's really kind of corny, right? Just because, a whole lot of tech stuff don't make you interesting, right? It just makes you smart in that particular field. But if you look at him and you watch how he move, it ain't like he got like longtime friends from childhood and things like that, and people speaking kindly of him. Everybody that talk about him say that he's pretty much aloof as a child, and he was always pretty much a bad guy. You did? So you give a person, a bad guy or a good guy, a whole bunch of money, you're gonna get more of a bad guy or more of a good guy. That's what's gonna happen in that regard. And so with Elon, looks like we're getting more of the bad guy. So he's not going to give away that money because that's the only way he gets attention and respect. He has to hold on to the money. He's not getting no action if he don't, if he ain't got that money, he gets no action, none whatsoever. I mean, very similar to Donald Trump, all that tricking, them babies, that's when babies come from, that tricking. People gotta understand that, these babies are a product of tricks, tricking. Yeah. I ain't gonna even go into it deep, but y'all know what I'm talking about, fam. Y'all look at them dudes until they ain't get no action, Look at their person. If you just listen to their personality, watch them, watch how they move. These are guys who, if they had any friends, they had to pay for them. If somebody helped them fight, they had to pay. Like, they never got anybody to do anything from the heart because, they're not the type of guys that have a heart. And they're definitely not the type of guys that one would look at and say, man, that's a true friend, I can count on him. These guys are transactional friends. Worst type you can have. Even worse than somebody who might want to harm you. You know what I'm saying? Well, they could want to harm you too, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, fam, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.